Welcome to another episode of the Successful and Single podcast. My name is Josh J1 Rayford. I am Director of Hip Hop for Pandora, Program Director for SiriusXM Pandora Now. I am educated. I'm a homeowner. I have good credit, no kids, and I am single. Yes, that is what we are here to discuss. Why so many men and women like myself are single, and there's nothing wrong with it.
There is nothing wrong with it.
We're not bitter about it or anything. We're just having conversations to explore and really get a better understanding of what's going on. So hopefully you that's listening right now, if you're in a situation where you're single out there and you're doing well in your career, you can find out more about yourself, hopefully through us. Mm-hmm. And that brings me to my guest because it's not about me. I like talking to other successful single men and women. And this person, I just think she's just a dope individual, a dope spirit, a dope soul. I've known her for, I'm not gonna say her age, but at least about 15 years and stuff. Yes. And she's just very talented. But I'm gonna let her go ahead and introduce herself.
Oh, thank you, J1. So, everyone, the Bimini Gal is in the building, baby. This is Tara Lynn of always representing the Bahamas and the entire Caribbean. And many of you have heard my voice before on Lil Wayne's The Carter 2, the song
classic album, classic, yes.
More fire, I go burn him, pop, pop.
That is what's up.
Yeah.
So I hate to ask this question. I hate to get asked this question, but for the purpose of this podcast, I have to ask it. Why, Miss Tara, are you single?
You know what? I get that all the time. They'd be like, why are you single? You're beautiful. You're so dope. Like, what's wrong with you?
But you are.
I know. Like, I see no lies, right?
Yeah.
I am single because I just don't want to settle, Jay. Like, I don't, you know? And I feel like at this point in my life, I know what it takes to make a relationship successful. Mm-hmm. And if I don't see that or those qualities inside someone, or don't meet anyone that's wanting for me to like bring out certain things in myself, I just don't feel like putting in the effort because I don't have time to waste.
I feel that. What is settling in your mind?
Settling is just being with someone just for the sake of not being alone. That to me is settling.
Got you. Mm-hmm. So, but you are open to having a relationship though.
Absolutely. Like, I feel like within the past 6 months, I've totally opened up myself and I'm ready for it. So like, I want to be with someone.
What was happening before these past 6 months?
Oh, my mind wasn't even there. Okay. I wasn't even thinking about a relationship.
What were you focused on?
I was just focused on my career. Okay. I was just focused on work. I was figuring out who I am. Coming out of this pandemic, coming through the pandemic, when that hit, I was on tour. I was doing carnivals. I'm talking London, Trinidad, everywhere, just all over, constantly traveling at least once a month, maybe out of the country. So I wasn't thinking about no man. I wasn't thinking about no relation. I was thinking about what's my next outfit, you know, what song I'm going to do next, you know, like that was what I was into. And I wasn't even on that run, as we would say.
So what changed in the last 6 months that kind of got you in a different mindset?
Ooh, good question. I think I've done a lot of work on myself too. Mm-hmm. And because of that, again, and I got to credit the pandemic for it, because I did a lot of reading. I did a lot of soul searching. Even my latest record, What the World Needs, I would have never been able to write that record if we weren't in that state. You know, with all of the racial injustice and things like that happening. And, you know, my father actually was murdered, you know, so he died in a violent way.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you for saying that. But he died in a violent way as well, you know, and it's like a lot of that stuff that was going on in this time frame, it brought up things within me. So I was able to write a record like that. Yeah. And I think that everything contributed, my whole mindset of just how I'm feeling has gotten me open to want to share my life with someone now.
Okay. Yeah. So what are you looking for? What attributes or characteristics are you looking for in a significant other?
Great question. So I am looking for a partner. I'm looking for someone that I can grow with. I want to be able to, you know, help make that person the best person they can be while they're doing the same thing for me. So I saw something recently, and it's a example of a Venn diagram. So it's a circle, and then you have the other circle, right? And then in the middle, that little portion of where the circle intersects is you and your partner, right? So I believe that your partner, you and your partner should have goals that you're focused on together, right? So you should be able to say, okay, what is the goal of our relationship? What are we working towards? How am I helping you? How are you helping me? And then outside of that, you have the other portion of the circle, right? Which is your individual goals and your individual goals, or your partner's individual goals, because you should always have things outside of them. So you're not solely dependent on that person to help build you up or provide happiness, because we got to be happy on our own first.
That's right. That's so important.
Yeah.
You can't rely on another person for your happiness.
No, it has to come from within.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's real.
So those are some of the things that I'm looking for. I'm looking for someone that's very secure within themselves because of what I do. You know, I'm still an artist.
Right.
I am a public figure. You know, I have to do certain things, or, you know, I may dress a certain way that maybe a regular man might not be comfortable with if they don't understand what my role is.
Right.
You know, and it's like they have to be secure within themselves. They have to be able to you know, be able to maneuver, I think, in different types of environments too. I need someone that's kind of like a chameleon and not someone that is just kind of like straight rigid or like necktie. You know, they got to be able to move with me, because I can move around in any circle, you know, and not feel intimidated.
What are some deal breakers?
Deal breakers, number one, you got to be a gentleman.
Gotta be a gentleman.
You got to be a gentleman. So like a huge turnoff for me is if a man doesn't open doors.
Ooh.
I'm old school.
Right.
So you need to be able to open a door. You need to understand, like, if we're walking on the side of the street and the cars is on this side and you got me on this side, I'm already done. I'm done. I don't want nothing to do with you.
So are you the type
you need to pull me and move me.
That's right.
Yes.
Are you the type of woman that will stand there on the passenger side of the car door and not get in the car until that man comes around and opens up that door for you?
Okay, let me tell you this. Let me give you this example, because I do this all the time.
Okay.
So like if we're at a restaurant or we're going to somewhere, I will slow down. I will slow down purposely, and I'll wait. I'm not going to walk ahead. I'm going to make sure I walk very slow. And if I'm ahead, I'm going to slow it down so you can open the door.
Okay. Okay.
So I may not do the thing with the car. I might get the point, okay, he's not going to do this. But yeah, I will slow down on you real quick, fast, in a hurry. And my brothers are so funny. They'd be like, I know what, Tara? They'd be like, Tara, Tara don't touch no doors.
Don't touch no doors. At least you know what you want, though.
That's right.
That's right.
And I'm not saying it has to be like that 100% of the time. But when you courting me, come on.
Yeah.
You better show out.
But even after.
Exactly.
After, they got to keep up that same energy and still open up doors.
Exactly. But I'm saying, like, the reason why I'm saying that is, like, if he doesn't, like, one time, it's not going to be, like, a deal breaker. But those are some things that, especially in the beginning, like, I look for. Like, I want a manly man.
Right. So being an artist, working in the industry that we do, it can be very challenging to date. One of the challenges that I always go back and forth with is dating somebody in the industry or dating somebody outside the industry. I want to get your perspective. Because again, this podcast ain't about me. It's all about you right now. But and this could be for any profession, because I'm sure attorneys deal with something like this to a certain degree. People who are teachers and have to work in the same school, they probably deal with it. So it can be transferable, but we're talking about the music industry. So do you prefer that whoever you're dating, or if you're interested in somebody, that they work in your industry or they do something completely different? So
that's a really great question. And I think that both have their pros and their cons. For instance, a pro would be to dating someone in the industry is that they understand the nightlife.
Right.
They understand, you know, late meetings, or, you know, they understand being in the studio with people of the opposite sex, working on music, being creative. Now, the flip side of that is dealing with someone that's not in the music industry. It may be a lot more difficult to get them to understand that that's okay and like that's normal and they shouldn't be insecure. However, in both situations, you could still be dating someone in the industry and they could still be insecure. So it kind of really doesn't matter. Just like you could be dating someone outside of the industry and maybe they don't understand the dynamics, and it may take them a little bit of time to like get them to understand that certain things are normal, but maybe they're not insecure. So it could go either way. So I mean, honestly, to answer the question, I don't think it's anything to do with the industry. I think it has to do with the man.
Ooh. Or the person. Right.
Well, we're talking about me, so it's a
Oh, we're talking about you. Right. Now I get it. I totally get it. Do you find that men are intimidated by you for the fact that you are an artist, you've achieved a good level of success, you're doing your thing, and you have a great deal of confidence about you? Do you feel men are intimidated by that?
I feel men are intimidated sometimes because I'm a big energy.
Right.
I'm a big energy. I always tell people I'm a middle child. I always had to fight energy all my life. Attention, and I'm very vocal. Like over the years, I have learned to speak up because even though people may meet me or they'll be like, oh, well, she's bold or whatever. But in relationships, I can be very shy and I would hold things in. And I think that over the past couple of years, I've just really worked really hard on changing that. So not to say that I'm always, barking, but I speak my mind.
Okay.
I feel like if I'm not being honest with myself, then how can I be honest with a partner?
Right. So
if I feel a certain way, if I have an issue, I like to talk about it because I like to sleep and I got to be at peace to sleep. So I like to talk about things and I don't let stuff fester. Like if we got an issue, let's talk about it. I'm not going to give you the silent treatment for 2 days and be like, what's wrong? I don't know. No, I'm going to tell you what's wrong and let's talk about it like adults, So I don't think a lot of people are prepared for that. They're not used to that.
Why do you think that is now?
I don't know, Jay, but I really think like that kind of scares some people. Like they're not used to that type of direct communication.
Yeah.
And I find that that's been an issue in dating.
That's real.
Yeah.
That's real. I mean, yeah, I think communication is definitely necessary. It's also the matter in which you do communicate. Like it has to be a two-way street. I was in a situation where
a situationship.
No, it was not an entanglement or anything. It was an actual relationship.
Okay.
And the person was very direct, and I appreciate that. Like I want you to be direct. If there's something wrong, great.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like you also gotta let me explain myself and hear my side of my point of view.
Yeah.
And that's where the communication broke down because it was a situation where she would say how she felt, but then when I said how I would feel, she didn't really take my opinion into perspective. Like she would judge me or get on my opinion or dissect it, why it was wrong.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, just hear me out. This
Sure.
is how I feel. You know what I'm saying? But
Exactly.
it got to the point that I started holding stuff in.
Yeah, because that's not effective communication.
Right.
That's just like, okay, I just want to tell you how I feel. And basically what she was saying, I really don't care how you feel. Like I've already made up my mind,
Yeah.
And that's the issue too. Like, and I mean, I'll be very transparent. I had to like really practice on this. I had to practice listening to understand first before I respond.
Wow.
Because I'm a Pisces. I'm emotional. Like I know that. I'll tell myself. So I had to work at this. And so now, it's not even about being in a relationship. I do it with my best friend. I do it with my son. I do it with family members. Just because there is a disagreement, it's not an invitation for disrespect, right? We can talk about something and we don't have to agree.
Right.
That's okay.
That's okay.
I feel like when you're in a relationship, it's like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. No, we don't have to agree on something.
Right.
And that can be perfectly fine. But you don't have to agree with me, but at least understand me. That's my big thing.
Yeah.
We don't have to agree. You can think I'm wrong from here to next year. But at least get to a point where you could be like, you know what, Tara, I understand where you're coming from with that. I may not agree with you or maybe how you went about it, but I understand maybe what the intention was. Something. Let's just come to some kind of understanding.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to me, that's successful because it's unrealistic to believe that you're never going to get into arguments or you're never going to have disagreements. I have a fingerprint, right, that God gave me.
Yeah.
You got your fingerprint.
That's right.
It's going to be it's different all the time. You can't expect to be synced up with a completely different human being that's not even a part of your family or your DNA.
No, that's real.
Yeah.
That's real. You mentioned your son. At what point do you actually introduce whoever you're dating?
I don't.
Okay.
Because I ain't get that far yet, J1.
Got you.
I ain't get that far yet until I just start dating. So,
right.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I ain't get that far yet.
So how far do you think it would have to be? What point?
It's gonna have to be like super far. Like it's gonna have to be like totally 100% committed relationship. Before I would feel comfortable doing that.
So how long do you think it should take, or should you date somebody before you kind of know that it's going to go in the direction that y'all are going to be together?
Or like you say you go together?
That y'all go together. Yes, you my girl. You mine.
Well, I will say that it's been like as short as 3 months and somebody has said, oh, we go together.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, okay, so we go together. I didn't like rebuttal or anything like that. And then like 2 months after that, we were like totally broken up.
What happened?
I just didn't really know the person yet. Like we were still like in the honeymoon, lust phase.
Right.
Yes. Because you think it's love, but it's not. It's lust, okay? It's lust. I promise it's lust. Wait for 6 months and then see if it's not lust, okay? So I think 6 months is a good time. And it also depends on how much time you're spending with them. Because what if it's 6 months and they live out of town, or six months and you're busy, they're busy, and you're only spending like maybe 2-3 times out the month, then that doesn't really count either. So I think the time frame like is based also on like the amount of time that you're spending with the person.
That's a very good point. So what if it's a situation where y'all are pretty much talking and texting every day? Y'all are seeing each other at least once or twice a week or something like that. Yeah,
then I think that, the time could be moved up. Then maybe it could be close to like 3 to 4 months.
Okay, so my next question.
Okay.
Because I get, for me, I've tended to I've put myself on like timelines and stuff like that, and it kind of backfires on me in different ways. So what if you guys, that energy is there, that chemistry is there, it's like y'all are both on the same page. Do you go for it? Do you sprint? Or do you still?
I'm a runner.
Do you hold yourself to that timeline? Because again, if that person is ready and you're ready, but you're just holding yourself to that timeline just for the sake of holding yourself to that timeline, does that necessarily is that helpful? Nah,
I would say I'm definitely a sprinter.
Okay.
And I think if he wants to sprint, let's go.
Let's go. 6 months out the window.
Let's go. 6 months out the window. That's like the perfect storm, right?
Right.
I feel like, why hold back?
Right. Yeah. And my thing is this, like, I do think you need to take time to get to know somebody at the end of the day, because you never know. But at the same time,
how are you going to know if you don't go
how are you
going
to know? But there have been people that like were high school sweethearts, and I know some of these people personally. High school sweethearts, dated in college, lived together, did the whole thing before they even got married.
Yeah.
Got married, maybe 5-6 years later, they're divorced. And it's just like, they'll say, oh, the person changed on me, things weren't the same. But you've known that person for half your life.
Yeah, but people do change though.
Right.
And a part of, growing is change, right? So, I mean, you're not the same person that you were 10 years ago.
No, absolutely.
I'm not the same person I was last year.
Right.
I have evolved so much.
Right.
And, sometimes in a marriage, you're evolving, but your partner isn't. And you're becoming open to new ideologies and new maybe passions or things that you're excited about. And that person isn't. And you don't have to totally be in sync or like the same things, but you got to have some commonalities.
Right.
People say opposites attract, and I think that is a crock of. You gotta have something in common.
True.
We ain't got nothing in common. We can't watch sports together. We don't do nothing together. When are you gonna spend time? How are you building?
Right.
What are you working towards? You gotta have something in common with this person. So I think that that's what happens in those situations where maybe there were a lot of commonalities and there were a lot of things that they could, do or partner together, and then one person just starts evolving and one person starts truly changing, or like maybe even coming into their higher self, and this other person doesn't.
What are your thoughts on dating multiple people at the same time?
I understand the concept.
Okay.
And I think that's okay if you're just dating and you're not like 100% interested in someone. So for me, if I'm like really feeling somebody, I don't want to date other men because I don't want those experiences to skew what's going on with this person. Because I believe that what you give out is what you're going to receive. And whatever you sow, you will reap.
Right.
So if I really like somebody, I don't want to be sowing that I'm out here with all these people because I don't want him doing that.
I've definitely been in a situation where I was the person that was like, I'm feeling this person. I don't really want to date anybody else.
Yeah.
But she was just like, no, I still want to date other people.
Yeah. But so y'all wasn't on the same page.
We wasn't on the same page. And once I realized that, I was just like, okay, I'm going to pull myself back.
You got to.
Yeah. Because, one, I'm like, I ain't competing.
Exactly.
This ain't the Bachelorette. I'm not competing.
I know
or
that's
anything.
right.
Yeah.
For real.
And then like you said, we just weren't, we were in two different seasons at the end of the day. So, I had to realize that, and it was no hard feelings or anything like that. It's just like, I pulled myself back. So, it is what it is. What are your thoughts on social media and dating? Has social media actually helped, connect more people or give people more options? Or has it hurt in the fact that you got married men or people in relationship? I could tell by your facial expression how you feel about that. But you have, again, on the flip side, you have more access to people. So you see more stuff. What are your thoughts?
Well, it does go down in the DM.
It does go down.
It goes down in the DM. Social media, my God. What is social media is what? The necessary evil. That's what I call it.
Yeah.
It's the necessary evil. I feel like you're absolutely correct. It gives you more options to people that maybe you would have never met in your entire life.
Right.
Because you just live in this city, and then now you're on social media and you're connecting with individuals from, halfway around the world or, on the other side of the country. And that's great. But there's also the ugly side of it. There are the people in relationships DMing you, and you go to their page and you see their wife and their kids and they just spent Christmas together, and you're like, why this man in my DM?
So you've seriously had that happen to
you? Yes, wow. I have had that. And I'm talking about blue ticks too. Jeez. What? You know what? But I ain't got nothing to say on your podcast, Jay.
But what? So what did they say?
But it's disheartening.
Right.
It's disheartening as a woman that's, trying to date, and your aspiration is for marriage, and your aspiration is to be in a relationship like that. And it's like, damn, that's what I got to look forward to.
What are your thoughts on dating somebody that's not as financially stable as you? Because I know different successful women I've talked to, they say it's a challenge for them. They make a certain amount of money, they make good money, they're used to this lifestyle, and then if the man isn't as secure or financially secure or doesn't make as much money, a couple of things happen. Either one, they're jealous of it or intimidated by it. Two, the person isn't comfortable with the lifestyle that you're accustomed to. Like as far as if you want to go on a nice trip or something like that, and they saying, well, no, baby, we can't really afford that. Why don't we just go to this trip right here, or we'll do this, or we have to wait later for that. But you're like, no, I was doing this before you. Why I gotta stop now? what are your thoughts on that? But on the same time, a man who is very successful, who has a lot of money, there are issues that come with that as well.
Absolutely. We're gonna definitely play devil's advocate with this question. So I'm gonna start it off like this. So a very long time ago, possibly a long time ago, yeah. Maybe it wasn't me. Maybe it wasn't me.
Listen,
but
it's
there's
okay.
a story to tell.
No names. That's the only rule.
Okay. All right. So once upon a time, I may have been dating an athlete.
Okay.
And this athlete told me I cannot work if I'm going to be with them. I don't need to work. I'm going to take care of you. All this great stuff, which was great at the time, right? Again, this is many moons ago. So he was doing everything for me. Car, clothes, monthly stipend, everything, right? So that was the only time in my life I had never had income on my own. And I don't care how much you love that person, and I don't care how much that person loves you, there will be times where they will feel resentful that they're doing everything. And there was a perfect example, really, really just kind of a minute situation, but we were at the gas station. I was driving my car, the car that he paid for. And I was like, we need to get gas. And he was like, well, just use your card or whatever. It's my money anyway. I promise you that's what that man told me. And I was like...
Now, he didn't say... Did he say it in a mean way or a demeaning way? Or
it was kind of like, just use your card. It's my money anyway.
Okay.
That's basically how it came out. And I felt some kind of way about it.
Really?
And I was like, you know what? I don't ever want to be in this situation again. I don't never want to talk to me like that. Like, it's the principle of it. Like, it's not even that serious. Like, you could have done it. Like, you're the man, right? But I'm like, nah, doesn't feel right. And I feel like that's going to happen to a man, even if it's not intentional. If I'm making more money than him, maybe something might slip out, or he might feel away. Or if I come back with a pair of shoes that he thinks is too expensive because he can't afford it. I just feel like in those types of situations, even if it's not intentional, because what you brought up was a good point.
Right.
How did he say it? He may not have said it he may not have thought that what he was saying was going to be received the way that I received it.
That's right.
And the same thing with me. If I'm the one that's like the breadwinner, maybe I might say something, or like I say, come home with something, or he might see me with a new something and be like, oh, she's shopping again. Well, yeah, it's my money.
Right.
Because he wasn't lying. It was his money.
Yeah.
So I feel in those types of situations, it's so much opportunity for resentment that I don't want to deal with it.
That's real. I mean,
it's just my personal opinion from my experience.
Right. And that's your experience, because there's some women out there that are okay with that and will
absolutely
and will take those type of comments and won't think nothing of it.
And
but you're right.
Fine. And nothing is wrong with that. And I don't have nothing against them women. More power to them. You know? It's just a situation that I'm not comfortable with.
I'm gonna wrap it up with this question here. If you had gotten into a long-term relationship, let's say a while ago, and it's still going, let's say you got married and stuff, and you've got multiple kids and you're living the family life.
I can't even think about multiple kids. I got one kid and I'm never doing that again.
We're gonna speak on that in a second.
And I love him dearly though. I love you, baby. You know, mommy love you. But I ain't doing that again, Jay.
Do you think you would have the levels of success as an artist or be where you're at right now if you had that family life early on?
Man, I honestly don't know. I think it would have been more challenging.
Okay.
I do. Because it is hard. It is hard being in this industry.